Hi, all my dear students, my dear colleagues, and honorable viewers. I'm here with another video, and let me tell you that in my previous video, I talked about how cashiers, comes out with a very practical suggestion of killing Antony also along with Caesar, and how Brutus rejects Cassius's practical suggestion by saying that they should be sacrificers and not butchers, and etc. etc. So you have to go through all those lines and watch my previous video, you will understand the lines. And now, in this video, let us talk about the doubts Cassius comes out with. Okay, now it is decided that they should assassinate only Caesar and leave Antony alone. Okay, and now Cassius expresses his doubts whether Caesar would come to the Senate that morning or not. From there we will start today's video. Look at this. Cassius says, I'll read out the entire speech of Cassius. My dear students, kindly open the textbook, come to that particular line. See, after the end of every video, you should mark where I stopped. Where I would stop, you should mark, so that helps you a lot to continue following my lecture in the coming videos, okay? Or in my next video. Look at this. Cassius says, but it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth today or no. For he is superstitious, grown of late, quiet from the main opinion he held once of fantasy, of dreams, and of ceremonies. It may be these apparent prodigies, the unaccustomed terror of this night, and the persuasion of his adjurers may hold him from the capital today. Look at the doubts expressed by Cassius. I'll read out each and every line and interpret each line to the best of my knowledge, try to understand. Look at Cassius, he says, but it is doubtful yet. He expresses his doubt. It is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth to the Senate today or not. The time when this scene takes place, there is still darkness, but the time is 3 o'clock early in the morning, dear friends. That means that the Ides of March has already arrived. And in the morning, they have planned to assassinate Caesar. Hence, Cassius comes out with his doubt whether Caesar would attend the Senate meeting or not that day. So that doubt is expressed by Cassius. Look at Cassius, he says, it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth today or not. Why does he express his doubt? He has his own reasons for his doubt. Cassius says, because he is superstitious grown of late. Of late means recently, Caesar has grown superstitious. In the past, maybe a few years before, Caesar was never superstitious, according to Cassius. Caesar never believed in the unnatural happenings and in these superstitious beliefs. But now, with age, he has grown superstitious. That is what Cassius is telling Brutus here. For he is grown superstitious of late, quiet from the main opinion he held once. Once he had a different opinion of superstitions. Now he has a different opinion altogether. Of fantasies, of dreams, and of ceremonies. fantasies, or could be superstitious beliefs, superstitious happenings, of dreams, and even of traditional offerings and ceremonies. He had a different opinion of these fantasies, dreams, and ceremonies in the past. But now he has altogether a different opinion. Now he very strongly believes in dreams, believes in fantasies, believes in ceremonies. With age he has grown superstitious. That is what Cassius is worried about. That's why Cassius expresses his doubt whether Caesar is going to attend the Senate meeting or not that morning. And he says, it may be, maybe this could be the reason. Cassius expresses his doubt. It may be these apparent prodigies, these wonders that happened on that particular night. He's talking about these unaccustomed terrors and apparent prodigies. Prodigies are wonderful things that happened on that particular night. This stormy night and strong winds blowing and uprooting the trees, and the clouds and the tidal waves, huge waves on the seas almost touching the clouds. These are the wonderful things that happened on that particular night, on that night. A night before the Ides of March. And these things might stop Caesar from, coming to the Senate, is the doubt expressed by Cassius. Look at this. He says, it may be these apparent prodigies, these known and people who have seen these prodigies, wonderful things, and the unaccustomed terrors of the night. What are these unaccustomed terrors? Terrors, terrifying things that people haven't seen so far. Like, for example, Casca meeting the lion near the Capitol, and the lion roaring at Casca and ignoring him without attacking him, ignoring him and going away. Is it not something which is very strange? For a lion not to attack its prey, P-R-E-Y. That's an unaccustomed terror. Casca was shocked when he saw the lion not attacking him. The second one, the common slave lifting his left hand, and the left hand was burning, and this common slave is not mindful of that pain, He became insensitive to pain, and his hand was flaming, burning as if 20 torches put together. But still it was not hurting him, paining him. Don't you think it is an unaccustomed terror of the night? And Casca had even seen 100 women melting in fear, promising that they had seen men all in fire walking up and down the streets of Rome. The ghosts of men, the ghosts of dead men, coming out of the graves and walking up and down the streets of Rome, making all sorts of gibberish noises. These are all unaccustomed, unused terrors of this night. Perhaps these strange happenings and these strange, unusual sights seen by people may stop Caesar from coming to the Senate. And he gives the third reason for his suspicion, for his doubt, Cassius. The third doubt is, and the persuasion of his arguers. Who are arguers? Caesar's personal priests. You know, these priests must have given certain sacrifices to gods. And if these priests tell Caesar that it is not the right time for him to leave the house, Caesar may not leave the house, listening to his augurers, his priests. Even that could be one of the reasons that could prevent Caesar from coming to the Senate. That's why Cassius is expressing his own doubts whether Caesar is going to come to the Senate or not. If he doesn't come to the Senate, how would these people, these conspirators, achieve their aim of assassinating Caesar? They would definitely fail in their aim. Understood? Look at this. I'll read out Cassius's passage once again for your benefit. Go through these things. He says, but it is doubtful yet whether Caesar will come forth today or so, nor no. For he is superstitious grown of late, quite from the main opinion he held once of fantasies, of dreams and of ceremonies. And it may be these apparent prodigies, the unaccustomed terror of the night, and the persuasion of the augurers may hold him from coming to the capital today. What's the meaning of holding? May stop him. All these things may prevent him from coming to the capital where the Senate meeting is going to be held in the morning on the Ides of March. Then Decius Brutus comes forward. He is another conspirator. Decius Brutus is very well known as a flatterer. As a flatterer. And let me tell you, dear friends, that flattery is the food of fools. He is a fool who falls into the trap of flattery. A fool always considers flattery his food. That's why there is this famous statement, flattery is the food of fools. And Decius Brutus is one such flatterer who comes forward and says, it is my responsibility. If Caesar doesn't want to leave his house, I will bring him into my way and I will bring him to the capital, he says. Because Decius Brutus very well knows that Caesar loves being flattered. He says, Decius Brutus says, when I tell Caesar he hates flatterers, he says he does by being so much flattered, he says. Look at that. Decius Brutus, if he goes and tells Caesar, Caesar, I know you hate flatterers. Then Caesar says, yes, I hate flatterers. And by saying so, he is flattered by Decius Brutus, or he is being flattered by Decius Brutus. And then Decius Brutus says, Caesar loves hearing how people and how animals are fooled by different things. He gives a list. I shall read them out. Try to follow this. Decius Brutus says, never fear that. He tells Cassius, you need not fear that. You need not have that suspicion, that doubt in your mind that Caesar may not come to the Senate. Never fear that. If he is so resolved, I can oversway him. If he is so resolved, I can oversway him. He says, for he loves to hear that unicorns may be betrayed with trees, bears with glasses, elephants with holes, lions with toils, and men with flatterers. Decius Brutus says, Caesar loves to hear these things. Look at this. He says, never fear that. If he is so resolved, if he is so determined not to come to the capital, I can oversway him. I can change his mind. I can overrule him. I can make him listen to me and follow me to the Senate. If he is so determined not to come to the Senate, who is he talking about? He's talking about Caesar. If he is so resolved, I can oversway him, because for he loves to hear. Caesar loves to hear other animals and people being fooled by things. And he doesn't know that he is being fooled by Decius Brutus. Decius Brutus gives us so many examples to prove that Caesar loves being flattered. Look at this. For he loves to hear that unicorns may be betrayed with the trees. A unicorn is an imaginary horse with one horn, with one horn on its forehead. Unicorn. And these unicorns, whenever the hunters wanted to hunt down these unicorns, they would draw the attention of the unicorns, and these unicorns would start chasing the hunters. The hunters would start escaping from the unicorns and start running, and suddenly they would find a huge tree and they would go and hide behind the tree. And the running unicorn was unable to, apply brakes to its speed, and it would go and hit the tree, and its horn, would get stuck deep into the tree, and the hunters would come out and hunt down that animal. That's why Caesar loves to hear this, how unicorns are betrayed, cheated, fooled by trees, by the hunters. Unicorns may be betrayed with trees, bears with glasses. What are glasses? Mirrors. If you hold a mirror to a bear, the bear thinks that the bear would look at its reflection and would think that there is another bear right in front of it, and it would run away. It would see, the bear is always afraid of looking at its reflection in the mirror. So you can easily fool a bear. You can easily make a bear run away by showing the bear a mirror, by holding a mirror in front of the bear. So bears with glasses. Bears can be fooled with glasses, and elephants with holes. That method of trapping elephants is called keta, wherein a deep pit is dug by the hunters or by the forest officials, and a rogue elephant would be trapped by making the elephant fall into the hole by keeping, grass and leaves upon the hole and making the elephant think that there is no hole at all there. The elephant would come running and it would step upon the grass and the leaves and it would fall down into the hole, and it can easily be caught by the hunters or by the forest officials. The huge elephant could be fooled by these holes, and lions with toils. Toils are snares, snares, or the net. The net with the help of which lions can easily be trapped. Have you ever heard of this story, The Lion and the Mouse? When the lion is caught in a toil or in a net, the mouse comes and helps the lion by biting the net and freeing the lion. So the lions can be fooled with nets. Toils or nets, and men can be fooled with flatterers. And Caesar loves to hear these things. And while listening to these stories, Caesar would not know that he is also falling into the trap of flattery. Look at Decius Brutus, he continues, he says, but when I tell him he hates flatterers, he says he does, being the most flattered. He says he does, being the most flattered. Look at the language used by Shakespeare. Decius Brutus says, when I tell Caesar he hates flatterers, he says he does hate flatterers. And thereby falling into the trap of flattery, prepared or, kept ready by Decius Brutus. That's why he says, let me work. But when I tell him he hates flatterers, he says he does, being most flattered. Let me work, for I can give his humor the true bent, and I will bring him to the capital. I can give his humor true bent. He says, I can give his imagination, I can give his thought the true color. That means that I can bring him into my way, and I will bring him to the capital. Even if he is not ready to come to the capital, I can flatter him, and I can bring him into my way, and I can bring him to the capital. So Decius Brutus takes the responsibility of changing Caesar's, idea of not coming to the capital. If at all he is not ready to come to the capital, then would bring him to the capital. Then Cassius says, no, you don't go alone. All of us will go, but you first go and change his mind, then we will come, and all of us will take Caesar to the Senate. No, Cassius says, we will all of us be there to fetch him. All of us will be there to take him to the capital. And Brutus fixes the time. Look at this, whatever Brutus says, the other conspirators must listen. Everything is fixed by Brutus. Brutus says, by the 8th hour, is that the uttermost? Let us meet Caesar in his house at 8 o'clock in the morning. Is it right for you all? Brutus asks him. And whatever Brutus says must be accepted by the other conspirators. Brutus says, by the 8th hour, is that the uttermost? Then Cinna says, be that the uttermost, and fail not then. That's the correct hour, and let us not delay. Let us not be late to Caesar's house. Let us be on time. Let us all be at Caesar's house at 8 o'clock in the morning. Then Metellus-Cimber talks about one more character called Caius Ligarius. Caius Ligarius is not that an important character in the play, and Brutus knows full well that Ligarius is not as important, as famous, as popular as Cicero, the elderly person. That is why Brutus readily accepts to meet Ligarius. But he doesn't accept to meet, Cicero. Because Brutus is afraid Cicero might overtake him. Brutus is such a cunning fellow, such a self-centered and egoistic person. Look at this. Metellus-Cimber comes out with one more suggestion. Caius Ligarius doth bear Caesar hard, who rated him for speaking well of Pompey. Caius Ligarius was scolded very badly by Caesar for praising Pompey in front of Caesar. That is why Ligarius doesn't like Caesar. And this is, expressed by Metellus-Cimber. Metellus-Cimber says, he's another conspirator. He comes and says, Caius Ligarius doth bear Caesar hard. What does this mean? Bearing somebody hard, disliking somebody. Ligarius dislikes Caesar. Why? Because Caesar had rated him. What's the meaning of rating somebody? Accusing somebody, blaming, scolding somebody very harshly. He had rated him for speaking well of Pompey. Do you know why Caesar scolded Ligarius heartily? Because Ligarius spoke well of Pompey, which was not liked by Caesar. So Caesar, scolded very heavily. He scolded Ligarius. Hence, Ligarius dislikes Caesar. Then look at Brutus here. Brutus accepts Metellisimba's suggestion. Because Brutus knows that Metellisimba is an ordinary conspirator and Caius Ligarius is also an ordinary conspirator. Both of them are not like Cassius, like Cicero. Hence, he readily accepts. And while accepting, look at the way Brutus boasts of himself. He speaks high of himself while, while he expresses his readiness to speak to Ligarius. Brutus says, "Oh, now, good Metellus, go along by him." Go along by him. That means bring him here. Because he loves me well. And I've given him reasons. Come on, bring Ligarius to me. I can change him. Because he says, he loves me well. And do you know why he loves me well? I've given him reasons enough to make him love me. And send him here. You send Ligarius here and I will fashion him. Look at the selfishness of Brutus. You send Ligarius here, he loves me well. He may dislike Caesar, but he loves me well. He likes me well. I've given him reasons for that. So Metellisimba, you bring him here, I will change him. I will make him ready to support us. I will fashion him, he says. Don't you think Brutus is speaking high of himself? So he is an attention seeker. So to me, Brutus is never a tragic hero. Understood? Then Cassius says, the morning is coming upon us. Now slowly the sun is rising. They could see grey lines in the eastern hills. The morning comes upon us. We will leave you, Brutus. And friends, disperse yourselves. Friends, you go home now. But all remember what you have said. But all remember what you have said. And show yourselves true Romans. Cassius is once again remaining all the conspirators to be united by asking them to remember what they have said. And he even asks Romans to show themselves to be true Romans, by joining hands in assassinating Julius Caesar in the Senate that morning. Then Brutus says, good gentlemen, look fresh and merrily. Let not our looks put on our purposes. Let us not have any tension on our face. Let us look very natural. But very then he talks about Roman actors. He says, you should all act naturally as the Roman actors do. You should all pretend very natural. Do not show your anxiety upon your faces. But you have to carry it out as Roman actors do, with unstirred spirits and formal constancy. You just be yourselves and be constant, and show happiness on your face. And so, good morrow to you everyone. Let us meet in Caesar's house at 8 o'clock. And all of them go away. Then he shouts his boy Lucius. He says, boy Lucius. Then he knows that the boy is fast asleep. Fast asleep? It's no matter. Enjoy the honey heavy dew of slumber. Look at this. He wants Lucius to enjoy the honey-heavy dew of slumber. What is slumber? Sleep. Sleep is, see, when you sleep, especially when boys sleep, they enjoy as if they are drinking honey and they are sleeping. Look at this, he says, the honey-heavy dew of slumber. Slumber is like a honey-heavy dew which is dropped on your soul or on your eyes, and you go to deep sleep. And he wants Lucius to enjoy this honey-heavy dew slumber. And because he says, you have no worries, you are still a boy, thou hast no figures, no fantasies, which busy cares draws in the brains of men. We are all troubled by cares and worries. Whereas you are a boy, you are free from all these worries, so enjoy your sound sleep, he says. Therefore thou sleepest so sound. Because you are sleeping so sound, I should not disturb you, because you don't have any worries as adults have, he says. And at this juncture, Portia finds some masked men, these conspirators, secretly going and talking to her husband. After the conspirators go away, Portia enters and she has a conversation with Brutus, her husband. And in my next video, let us know what happens between the husband and the wife, Brutus and his wife Portia. Till then, go through this video and read the lines once again and be ready for my next video. Tick where I have stopped here. Enter Portia. In my next video, we will begin with the entry of Portia. Okay. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.